Just let me adjust my shirt. Hey everyone, it's Chris from cstrainingsystems.com, and today I want to try to get a point across to you using this Jenga game as a visual representation. So your body is connected in every way, shape, and form. Your head is connected to your back is connected to your core, knee, hip. It's all connected in one way, shape, or another. So let's say this Jenga game is your body. You have your head up top and then you got your feet down below. If you have a shoulder problem, a little bit of pain, discomfort, or whatever it may be, maybe you've got tight lats or you don't have adequate upward rotation of your scapula, whatever it is, we can basically take away a piece. You're still standing. Obviously this arrangement isn't really ideal, but clearly it's still standing and it still works. Let's go a little lower, and let's say you have problems with your lower back, you have a weak core. So again, you've got another piece missing, but it's still standing, it's still working. Let's go a little lower. Now you got your hip. Let's say you've got a lack of mobility at the hip or whatever, and it's causing a little bit of issues. Clearly, this isn't ideal, but it's still working. Go a little bit lower. You got problems with your knee. Still standing. But now let's go all the way down to the bottom. If you have problems with your ankle, maybe the muscles in the bottom of your feet aren't working correctly, or you've got some plantar fasciitis, or you've got some restrictions as far as mobility goes, well, if you take one of those blocks away, now we've got a big problem. Look at the bottom of that thing. Not very stable. Everything else above it is going to be affected. So if you have one more problem and you try to push through it, remove another one, well, holy crap, anything that you do is gonna cause issues above that problem. So what does this mean for you and your body? Basically, if you have restrictions in your big toe, your foot, your ankle, or whatever, if they're not working correctly, the next thing up is going to need to compensate. Ankle and foot problems, well, now your knee is gonna start to feel funny because your ankle and your foot can't do what it needs to do. Well, your knee is feeling funny, so now your hip is gonna start to act differently. Or your hip's acting differently, now your low back and your thoracic spine are gonna act differently, and then your thoracic spine's not acting the right way, so your shoulder blade starts acting up. Then you got neck problems, and then you're trying to fix all these things when really it might just be the root of your problem down at your foot and ankle. So let's say you don't fix these things and you still try to push through it and you still try to squat heavy and run and sprint and do all these things when your feet and ankle really need a lot of love. Now you're just gambling, and it's basically like me trying to get this one block out and still have this thing standing. That totally defeats the point of what I'm trying to get across. That wasn't supposed to happen. So what I'm trying to say is this. Give your feet and your ankles some love. Try to spend a little bit more time barefoot. You know, if your gym allows it, take your shoes off during your warm-up. Foam roll the bottom of your feet with a golf ball, lacrosse ball, or a tennis ball. Do some ankle mobility drills. Maybe try performing one of the bigger lifts barefoot, like squatting or deadlifting. And who knows, it might solve some of your problems higher up the chain. So maybe because you fix your foot and your ankle problem, maybe now your knee feels better, your hip feels better. You feel certain exercises where you're supposed to be feeling them. I mean, after all, your feet do have 54 bones in them combined, a crap load of joints, a lot of moving parts between your two feet. I mean, anything with that many bones, that many ligaments, and that many joints going on in one little confined area, pretty important. So give your feet some love, give your ankles some love, don't neglect them, and I promise it'll make a big difference in your training.